humankind. There will be a judgment. Justice will be done. Every single human being will either receive absolute justice, but believe me, that's not what you want. You don't want justice. Justice will be done, but it will be done within the context of God's grace and mercy. What you want is God's mercy. You don't want God's justice. No one will get injustice. You will either get exactly what you deserve, or you will get mercy. No one will get injustice. We need to keep that in mind. And so, cursed is he who distorts the justice due, an alien, orphan, widow. In other words, those who have the weakest position in the society, those who are the most likely to be taken advantage of, the alien, the orphan, and the widow, do not distort the justice due to them. Verse 20. If you'll notice verses 20, 21, 22, and 23 all go together. Cursed is he who lies with his father's wife, because he has uncovered his father's skirt. Cursed is he who lies with any animal. Cursed is he who lies with his sister, the daughter of his father or of his mother. Cursed is he who lies with his mother-in-law. And all the people shall say, Amen. We saw all of these laws in the Holiness Code, and we saw them repeated twice. We saw them placed within the context of Leviticus chapter 18 in the catalog of sins of the people of the nations, and they had been driven out of the land because of that. And then we saw in chapter 20 of Leviticus, where those same laws are then incorporated into the covenant law of the people of Israel, with the associated penalties that come with those activities if they are found amongst the people of Israel, for those were the very activities that had caused the land to spew its former inhabitants out. And so it is not an exhaustive list, but it involves close family relationships. It involves the confusion, that was the very term that was used, confusion of bestiality, verse 21. And all of these things are condemned. Now you might say, well, it sure would have been helpful for us today if there had been a repetition of the condemnation of homosexuality. Well, I hope you realize there is. These are not, I mean, when you take four, you had one for idolatry, and now you have four representing the sexual sins. Was there anybody on either one of those mountains that didn't get the idea that what this means is the entire Holiness Code in regards to sexual ethics is absolutely incumbent upon all the people of God? Did you have to repeat every single one of them? When you've repeated four of them in these categories that are found here, you're obviously encompassing the entirety of that law that had been given. And so it is not just, well, that was just a cultic thing, and no, here you have as a very part of the stipulations, the conditions of the covenant. When the people enter into the land, one of the first things they're to do are to be reminded of these fundamental basic things. And one of the fundamental basic things that is emphasized, in fact, you could argue it is the most emphasized in the curses, is the purity of sexual relationship that is to exist amongst the people of God in the land. And this is laid out and made very, very clear. Yes, there is a danger of them violating these things because of idolatry and things like that, but there is no stipulation that it's only within idolatrous religious worship that these things are wrong. The wrongness is in the action, and that wrongness can be expressed in many different contexts. And so here you have these curses that are laid out, and these curses are specifically made known to the people of God. There's no question. No one can say, I didn't hear. And they very clearly reflect what was contained in Leviticus 18 and Leviticus 20, both very key passages that we have covered fairly in depth over the past couple of years. Verse 24, Cursed is he who strikes his neighbor in secret, and all the people shall say, Amen. Now this, of course, reflects back upon the fact there needs to be peace amongst the people of God. And of course, to strike your neighbor in secret. So much of what we looked at when the elders would have to inquire and do investigation into the shedding of innocent blood and things like that was due to the fact there needed to be multiple witnesses. And so here, there were ways of undercutting the intention of the law and to strike your neighbor in secret. So there could be no justice done. You would have bloodshed in the land. And remember, we went over sections where there were sacrifices that were specifically designed to address unjustified actions. In other words, where situations would arise where justice couldn't be done. You could not know. We would call them cold cases, but where justice could not be done. And there was something fundamentally wrong in allowing blood guiltiness to come upon the land. People understood that it wasn't just, well, we'll never know. Be nice to know, but we'll never know. The necessity of justice being done amongst the people of God again points to the reality. The foundation of his throne is justice, and if his people are not concerned about that justice taking place, there is a curse, even if you get away with it. Cursed is he who strikes his neighbor in secret, and all the people shall say, Amen. Verse 25, cursed is he who accepts a bribe to strike down an innocent person, and all the people shall say, Amen. What are both of these really about? They are about ways in which you could undercut the legal system that had been provided by God to protect the people of God. There's always a way to do that. There's always a way to get around legal systems, laws. A bribe, well, all you got to do is find yourself the judge with the right price, right? Now, has this been something that has happened amongst mankind down through the ages? Yes. But there is certainly something to be said. When you have judges, those who are given the special position of functioning as the guardians of justice in a society, not only should those individuals be given double honor, but great is their judgment should they